Hey guys, it's Joe Carroll here in Nashville again today. Hey, got something in my mind that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I've been thinking about this quite a bit lately, and that is basically the number of young guys and or ladies that want to do what I want, what I do, and that have the same dreams and aspirations that I did, 20 years ago or 20 or more, and will maybe never get a chance to see those dreams come true. Of course, the main reason is because there's just not that many jobs out there. The opportunities and demand for somebody with this skill set is much, much lower than the people that actually want to be in the music production field. So obviously, many people will never make it. So that said, how does a young guy or lady that's thinking about taking the next step and maybe doing a full sail or the conservatory in Phoenix, there's so many of these type of schools that are specializing in this kind of thing now, and they're heavy dollars, right? So how will you ensure that you have a chance when your internship comes due, to actually stay in that town, work in that studio, and become a professional in this industry, as opposed to moving back and basically have very low prospects for an actual career. So I'm going to give you some tips because I've been thinking about this, about things that made me a career, gave me an opportunity to get my foot in the door, keep my foot in the door, and gain new clients, new opportunities, as well as from being around this town. I'm in my 18th year of doing this professionally now. So I've seen a lot of young people come and go, interns at various studios where I had residents or worked at a lot, as well as interns I've had. So what makes a successful internship, versus the kid that doesn't get the gig? So let me give you a list of some things. I'm going to give you two lists. The first one is prior to your internship. This is the stuff I want you to know. Go into your internship with these things in your mind and know that you've got to do these in order to give yourself a chance among the other 4 or 5 interns that may be serving at that time. If a staff position does come open, or one of the engineers that works at that studio all the time takes a liking to you and decides he's going to have a job opening, it's going to make the difference between you getting the job and one of the other young people. All right, so number one, just simply be on time. If your internship, is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you have to be there at 10, be there at 9:45. Be there in the parking lot. If you have to open, with the guy that's open, be in the parking lot when he gets there. Make sure that people that are your potential employers see that level of commitment. Okay, no exceptions. Don't be late. All right. Don't ask for a day off unless it's a vital emergency, and then make sure they know why. Number two is dress appropriately. Okay. Some of you guys are thinking, wait a minute, I wanted to get in the music business because there is no dress code, but that's not really true. Maybe you're going to get an internship or a job at a private studio that, for a producer that specializes in death metal, and you can do whatever you want to. If you want to wear your Slayer t-shirt with coffee stains and holes in it and you have your, face, with 6 different piercings, go for it, because that is not going to hurt you in that studio, right? Maybe. But what I'm going to tell you is that in most situations it will. That's the kind of stuff that will, you'll serve your one semester of internship and you'll be right out of there. Because most commercial facilities have different people coming in there every day. And that's part of the draw of why a lot of people want to serve, right? An internship at a studio like the ones we have here in Nashville, or some in Los Angeles, or even Austin, Texas. All the hubbub, right? They're famous rooms with great gear, and some of your favorite studio musicians and engineers will be walking the hallways every day. But their clients will be of all different types and walks and backgrounds. So just try to, obviously I'm not saying wear a suit and tie, but just look presentable. All right. I mean, wash your clothes, wear decent clothes. If getting your latest face tattoo or hate, tattooed across your knuckles is more important than a potential job opening, then you're probably not going to make it in this field. All right. I know that sounds like an old guy thing to say, but it's true. I've seen it. Okay. So number 3, And this one's hard for a lot of people because it's not their nature, but this is a biggie. This has been a huge one for me, and I see it as a big one for everybody I've ever seen be successful in, stepping out of a group of internships and actually landing a staff position. And that is number 3, be a servant. Again, it doesn't come natural. But some of you may already, be ahead on this like I was, because it's the way my mama taught me. I'd have got hit if I didn't do it right. But serve people. Open the door for them. Always look for an opportunity. I don't care if it's a guy or a girl, if they're old or they're young, attractive, not attractive. Open the door for them. If you got a guitar player that's hand carrying some instruments in and out of the studio before a session, after a session, offer help. If it's raining, hold the umbrella over them so the rain doesn't get on their amplifiers, even if it means you get drenched. Get people coffee, water bottles. If you do get lucky enough to be in a studio situation and the engineer chugs a bottle of water and lays the empty bottle down on the producer's desk behind him while he's mixing, don't even ask. Go to the mini fridge, get another bottle of water, a cold bottle of water, set it in that same spot, and throw the other one away. Don't look for praise. Don't wait for opportunity. Just, oh, maybe he'll see me. They'll notice. Nothing will get noticed more than that. Number 3 right there. Be a servant. Treat people great. Number 4 is know when to speak and when to be silent. All right. I've seen kids waste internships by being overly shy. They're backwards by nature. They never get involved in any conversation that's going on with anybody. No one ever gets the chance to know them. So despite how brilliant they may be, it's never going to happen. But on the other hand, some of you that's like me and can't hardly don't know when to shut up, know when to be silent, because there's a time. These people are working. If you do get a chance to sit in the control room and watch somebody work, shut up. They're trying to focus. Don't be back there talking to another intern or whatever. Be quiet and be respectful. If you see an engineer that you really, it's like, oh my gosh, there's such and such, and he's talking to this studio musician such and such, and wow, I want to get involved in that conversation. Maybe stand close by, whatever, but don't interrupt them. Don't spout off your own ideas. Just let them be, okay? So there's a time to talk and a time not to, and you'll figure that kind of stuff out. Number 5, the people that you're going to be meeting and the people that you're going to be around. You may be a big fish in a small pond. You may really have aced every class in your classroom, but the people that you're going to be around that do this all day, every day in these meccas, you have no idea what you're in for. The talent level, the efficiency, the just everything that it's going to be shocking to you. So just soak it up. Don't look for ways to impress them with knowledge. It's not going to happen. In fact, it just makes them roll their eyes and not want you to be in the room again. If you do get a chance to have a one-on-one in 20 minutes of question and answer and stuff, because I tell you what, most guys, you will find most guys that's been in this town 10, 15, 20, 30 years, when they do have a few minutes, maybe they've finished up a mix and they don't have to be home for supper for another 20 minutes, they'll give you some time. And soak that time up. Make the most of it. Don't try to show them how much you know. Glean what they know. Okay, because otherwise they're just not gonna really necessarily want you around. They may be nice, but anyway, that's kind of a biggie. And another one, and this is I think number 6, and is get off your phone. Get off. Don't be seen. In critical times, taking selfies. Snapchatting your best girlfriend, whatever the case may be. There's a time and a place for that. In almost every work situation, you throughout the day, you can update your Facebook status if you want to, right? But there's a whole lot of times during the day where you cannot. Don't let them see you with your phone. That's a biggie for this generation. Because the people that are making the decisions whether to keep you around, give you a shot, are from a generation where having your phone in your hand doing Snapchatting is not necessarily an acceptable or attractive thing. So put your phone in your pocket, okay? Okay, so now we landed our first staff position, right? Maybe we got a position with a independent engineer as his assistant, or it could be something as simple as somebody needs us to tune a vocal for him real quick or whatever. at whatever level, you've got your first gig, right? So how do you make that gig last to keep you in this town or whatever town it is long enough to actually grow and advance in this industry? Make sure that that first entry level job is not your last. So again, I've got a handful of steps that I think are really good and that I've seen work. The first one is get off your phone. Okay, I know I just said it, but it doesn't matter on what side you're on, intern or professional, get off your phone. I just can't say that enough. All right, so in fact, I will tell you a quick story of a guy that had made it through his internship and got a staff position at a studio where I used to cut a lot of tracks, still do sometimes. And my normal assistant wasn't there, so they assigned this guy to me to be my tape op, and it happened to be a project I was producing. So while I was controlling the console and the cues, and I was also trying to produce, so my hands were really full. My tape op thought it more important to be texting his peeps, while I had a room full of highly paid, all-star musicians in the room. So immediately, of course, the next day I walk into the studio manager's office and say, I will not work with this kid again. And he's like, man, I've had that, you're the third person. The next week that kid didn't have a job. I know that sounds harsh. He didn't need to be here. When we, every time we, established engineers, put our hands on a console, we're only as good as our assistants, right? So that is making or breaking our own career. So it's a tough business, so be tough. All right, so that said, let's go to the next one. Never turn down an opportunity to, for employment based on genre preferences. First of all, when you're really young, you tend to be a little bit closed-minded in music, and that's okay. You'll grow. Not all of you, but some of you. Right now you're thinking if you don't work in hip hop, or if you don't work in country, or you don't work in whatever that you currently like, if you can't work in that, you don't want to work at all, right? But your priorities and your preferences and stuff like that are going to change based on the fact that very few opportunities are going to come along. You surely don't want to close one of those open doors just based on the fact that it's, classical music and you really wanted to do bluegrass or whatever the case may be. So be open-minded about that kind of stuff, because you never know where your career is going to go for your first gig, or second gig, third gig. Just take them all. Look for the opportunities. Okay, here's another one. And this is one that I've not always been good at, but I had some producers that apparently forgave me for it and gave me a chance to grow out of it. And that's always be confident. Never show panic. Never show nerves. If you're a staff position at a studio, if you're the staff guy and an established engineer and producer are in the room, and getting sounds in the morning, you just cannot get the keyboards to show up on the console, or they're not going to Pro Tools. Go through those logical steps quickly but calmly, controlled. Did you check the cables going from the keyboard to the direct box? Did you check the direct boxes? Did you change the cables that go from the direct box to the wall? Did you change the patch cables? Try different console channels, whatever. Go through those steps in logical order, calmly. They don't want to see you panic. That makes them nervous, in which case they're not going to want to come to that studio anymore. Or if they do come to the studio, they're not going to want to work with you, and they'll request, just as I did, they'll request somebody else. So always be in control. I've gotten a lot better at that over the years. In fact, me and my assistant, Lucas, shout out to Lucas, tease each other all the time, because one of the main things I teach him is the phrase, not scared, right? No matter what happens, I'm not scared, So try to develop that type of mentality, even if you are scared. Always look like you're in control. Okay, and this is a big one. Our business is based on making the guy in front of us look great. Whether that means we get any praise or accolades is irrelevant. Make that guy look great. When you're a staff guy and you're assisting, maybe you're just the tape op or whatever, for an established engineer, Make him look great. That's your job, right? Make him request you every time he comes back to that studio. Don't look for praise, whatever. If he says thank you at the end of the day, great. If he don't, doesn't matter. He'll want you back if you do a good job. Have his back. If you see that he forgot to unmute, something on the console during a playback, just reach over there and do it. Don't look for praise. Just get it done. If you see that, the second pass of electric guitar in the cue system is supposed to be panned, to the right, and he's having to manually do it from first pass to the second pass. You see he didn't do it, just reach up there and do it. Just always have the guy's back. That's the way our industry works. A great assistant makes a great, an engineer look great. A great engineer makes a producer look great. A great producer makes the artist look great. It's just on and on and on. So that's the only way to climb the ladder, is making the guys above you look great. And again, don't look for praise. Just do it because that's your job. Okay, so the next thing is you guys, I kind of hit on this earlier. You have no idea the talent and skill level that you're going to be surrounded by. And obviously you're going to want to, the only chance you have to have a successful career is to grow your own talent. The fact that you have so much to learn means it takes a lot of time to do it. The fact that it takes a lot of time to learn means you have little time to waste. Get rid of time wasters in your life. Just avoid them. Whether that's if you have to delete Snapchat from your phone, there I go again, right? Then delete it. But here's a biggie. Getting on these online threads, right? Gear sluts and all the different Facebook groups and stuff like that, where people are really, let's just face it, showing how much sometimes they don't know by some of the things they say, but it makes them, they think maybe it looks they look impressive by saying they can hear this difference or that difference or whatever. Don't get into those arguments. People are arguing online in the box versus outside the box, clones versus originals, Mac versus PC, Pro Tools versus New Window versus Logic. Don't get caught up in that crap, because that's exactly what it is. It is crap. It is the biggest time waster for a lot of young engineers that I see. Ignore that stuff and just keep plowing, man. Learn what you got to learn and turn that stuff off. And kind of a little B to that is, don't get involved in politics on Facebook or social media and that kind of stuff. No one cares what your opinion is, first and foremost. And mainly, why would you want to alienate half of your potential client base, right? They check out this young guy they're thinking about hiring and find out he's radically committed to the party that they despise. Just keep that stuff, keep it in your closet, all right? It's going to serve you no purpose, I promise you. All right, so that said, another one. Deadlines. Deadlines are king in the music business. No excuses. If an artist has a CD release scheduled for March 10th, and so the producer tells you that it has to be in mastering by February 10th, then you have your mixes done February 9th. Period. There's no excuses. That's just the way it is. It doesn't matter how much sleep you lose. If you have to work when you're sick, you get it done. I mean, like literally the only excuse is a death in the family, and that is it. Never miss deadlines. You will destroy your reputation and therefore destroy your career. Okay, deadlines are king. Okay, next, and this is a big one that is really tough to take, but it's going to happen. Okay, as you become more the guy, and maybe you're getting some mixed jobs or whatever. Just because you produced the last two projects or mixed the last two projects in a row for some producer or a particular artist doesn't mean it's your account. There's a lot of talented people in this town. And not only do you not have time to do every job that is available in any music town, but sometimes they're looking for a different sonic flavor, or they have other friends, in the music business. So they want to spread the wealth, so to speak. There's no gig that is inherently yours. So when you get wind of the fact that a producer that is a client of yours hires another guy to do a particular tracking job or mix job or whatever the case may be, don't be offended by it. It is gonna happen. Don't let this be a wedge between you and that producer. He may very well hire you the next week on something else or a month later. Never, in fact, if you see him at the coffee shop, you post something on his Facebook wall. You see him in another room at the multi-room facility studio you're working in. Be sure and take time to tell him, man, that project from Group A, whatever the case may be. Tell him how good it is. Say, man, you've never sounded better. I mean, never make it awkward for them to hire you or rehire you. Okay, that's a big one that I've seen so many people fail that test. Luckily, I hid my disappointment and have really never lost a client due to that, at least to my knowledge. So, guys, last, what I will say is, and this one's important to me, if you have a successful career in the music business, it is 100% because of other people. It's not because of you. None of us have the talent that it takes in the early days to work at this level. We have to, have people sow their knowledge into us, allow them to watch us, or us watch them work and learn, have question and answer, and time to develop those skills. So we owe everything to other people. And never forget that. You may be 20 years into this business and you have a Grammy nomination and, whatever. Never get so cocky in your own skills that you don't remember the people that made you great. And pay it back. Pay it back. When you are in the hallway and you're having a conversation, with whoever, and you see some bright-eyed young kid that reminds you of the same, hunger and passion that you had, ask him into your control room. Say, hey, dude, I'm starting to mix tomorrow, 10 a.m. You want to come in? Be here. They're going to jump at it, right? And when they get there, you can, always tell them, hey, just sit back there and hush and just observe. At the end of this thing, let's take 20 minutes and question and answer. They're going to love you for it. And one of these days, they may be 20 years in and have their own Grammy. And it'll all be, partly because of the chances that you gave them and the opportunities to accumulate knowledge. So always give back. That's a biggie, guys. All of us owe everything to someone else. Okay, so that said, hey, have a good one. See you next time.